Hello everyone, this is Steven Shinder Reviews in video form, and I am in a Star Warsy mood. Just last night we had the final three episodes of Andor, and they were really good, and once they finished I was compelled to rewatch Rogue One and then rewatch A New Hope. Really fun experience. The cinematography between the show and Rogue One flowed together seamlessly, although, as expected with A New Hope, that one kind of feels like the odd one out. But, it's a classic, so always fun to watch. And today, which just so happens to be George Lucas's birthday, hey, maybe they planned that, ending the show the night before. I got around to watching the second season of Light and Magic, where they talk about the effects of the prequels and some other things. But today I'm mainly going to focus on the Cassian and K-2SO comic and how it can still fit into Star Wars canon. Now, there will be, I guess, light spoilers. So in episode, what was it, 9 of Andor, we get the new take on the meeting between Cassian and K2SO, and how during the I'm just gonna assume you've seen the show. Like during the Gorman massacre is when they acquire the droid, and then basically tamper with the droid's mind or whatever and reprogram him. And then episodes 10, 11, and 12 are a year later, basically days before Rogue One. And there's no mention of this first meeting as it's presented in the comic. Now, I reread this comic two times, and so I guess in total I've read it like three times, because of the first time all those years ago. And I went in with the idea that K2 could have been recaptured by the Empire after Andor season 2 episode 9, a little while after that, and been reprogrammed, got his imperial programming back, the rebel stuff wiped away, and then Cassian has this other mission where he's accompanied by these two aliens who communicate via smell. So that's in the comic. And on this mission, he just so happens to bump into K2SO again. So I went into rereading this comic with that idea, and it kind of works actually. Uh, Cassian does ask K2, what model are you? Because like he's trying to find the kill switch. He knows that there's a kill switch around the neck, and I don't recall if he ever learned about that in the TV series. So I can imagine maybe he's so familiar with that because of interacting with K2, who got reprogrammed in the show, and perhaps after getting regained by the Empire, they realized the security risk of, oh, they know where his kill switch is, let's move it somewhere else. Because in this comic, he says there's a kill switch on KX series droids. We used to have it on the neck. Where is it now? And, they moved it somewhere else. And when he asks, what model are you? He says, I'm K2SO. And at no point does Cassian say, K2SO, nice to meet you for the first time ever. Like, there's never anything like that from Cassian. He just, is very intent on trying to wipe the droid's imperial programming and reprogram him. And he even tells the aliens he's with, do you know how to wipe this droid's mind? I feel like I'm working on outdated information, meaning that he's done this sort of thing before, with the maybe with a KX droid, or at least is familiar with the idea of how it's done. If you take the Andor TV show into account, it's like, oh, what if in that moment he is thinking of, when he was told about how the reprogramming of K2 in season 2, episode 9 worked. And so he's kind of familiar with how that procedure is done. And now he has to sort of relearn how to do it on him again. And this kind of adds another layer to the comic because it's like, okay, he's familiar with this droid already. So this is why he's super intent on trying to reprogram him. It's not only because he'll be a good asset for them, it's also because he knows this droid. And I think it really works. And I think something that I kind of miss, or something that I was kind of hoping would be explored in the Andor TV show, is the friendship between Cassian and K2. Maybe a little bit more levity there. They didn't really touch on that. What we get in the final 3 episodes is they're hunkered down in the Yavin base for a while. They do go out for one mission, but it feels like they've been there for a while. So maybe after the events of the mission in this comic, they decide to lie low for a while until those events. All of that could have happened within the year before the Battle of Yavin. I should note that in the comic, after K2 is basically fully reprogrammed, fully rebel by the end, he does ask Cassian his name because he says he never learned it. And that could very well just be, the Empire probably wiped Cassian from his memories or something. Whether they did that specifically or were just, oh, let's just wipe everything from him or whatever that's related to anti imperial stuff. So I don't see that as something that goes against this idea I have. It can still work because of, droid memory wiping. So, yeah, that's pretty much my idea of how the comic could still fit in canon. And yes, I know it's not the intention of the people making the show, but if you want to have it as your own personal headcanon, then why not? I still think it's a fun story, and it could still fit if you just simply imagine that such a mission, or maybe Cassian and K2 went on a mission, K2 got captured, and then Cassian went on this other mission, found him there in the comic, and yeah, it just kind of works. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. If there are any major, I don't know, points that could go against this, feel free to let me know. But I think this really works. In any case, great show, great characters. Man, this reminds me why I love Star Wars. Alright, I guess that's it for now. This is Steven Should Reviews in video form, and I'll see you all soon.